In these times of globalization, speeds have gone up and distances have become smaller. Technical progress and individualization have made man more independent and more aloof. Modern man does not seem to be greatly interested in his fellow humans. Today, people are mainly concerned about themselves.
You're dealing with an addicted generation.
This is a big time bomb ticking.
This is no accident. Indeed, it is by design.
I mean, seriously?
It was my mistake.
The high levels of narcissism and egocentric engage in self-promotional behavior online due to their egoistic self-serving motives. And that is the major reason why social media behavior is turning into social media addiction.
Spike in dopamine.
We now know that many of the major social media companies hire individuals called attention engineers who borrow principles from Las Vegas casino gambling, among other places, to try to make these products as addictive as possible. That is the desired use case of these products, is that you use it in an addictive fashion because that maximizes the profit that can be extracted from your attention and data.
Celebrities often use social media to get around the likes and shares. Some use social media to be celebrities, but the smart celebrities refuse to use the deceptive media. Daniel Radcliffe, famous Harry Potter actor, refused to use it. Or I can better say, in his words, it would be crazy and unhealthy to use it. Emma Stone, not using it. Robert Pattinson, not an official user. Kristen Stewart, also refused to use social media. Brad Pitt, not using it. Daniel Craig, not using it. What is the problem? Why are not they using it? Either they know the dark secrets of the social media companies, or either they believe in conspiracy theory, as mainstream media calls it.
Created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are.
The first notification that you get from the desired social app, that is the inception of getting into the rabbit hole of deception, where reality is framed according to the mediocrity. The social media apps are designed and programmed according to the human addictive psychology, where every part of social life is manipulated according to the dopamine driven by the app usage. The attention span, the focus, the concentration, the way we use it to inhibit in ourselves is already manipulated and controlled according to the latest trends and poses. In the market of social media, the selfie poses, human behavior is no longer worth it. The human brain is just a machine of emotions. What people think about me, am I worth it? Am I going to be liked by all? These are the deceptions that we are all living in, especially the young youth. They don't care about others or their parents or any other living being. They just want the social media solution, and that is me. Me in the media. That is the social media.
And sold.
What happened is that the attention economy and this race for attention got more and more competitive. And the more competitive it got to get people's attention on, say, a news website, the more they need to add these design principles, these more manipulative design tactics, as ways of holding on to your attention.
You don't realize it, but you are being programmed.
Desired use case of these tools is that you fragment your attention as much as possible throughout your waking hours. That's how these tools are designed to use. Well, we have a growing amount of research which tells us that if you spend large portions of your day in a state of fragmented attention, so large portions of your day where you're constantly breaking up your attention, take a quick glance, do a just check, and just quickly look at Instagram, that this can permanently reduce your capacity for concentration. I am especially worried about this when we look at the younger generation coming up, which is the most saturated in this technology.
And it's very addictive because if you pull on the slot machine arm enough, you will win. And you never know which pull will reward you.
That's an addictive behavior, and it's dopamine that is driving that addiction. So what happens with social media is Robert Sapolsky, who did the foundational research on this at Stanford, calls it the magic of maybe. When you look at your phone and maybe there's a text there and maybe there's not, and you don't know, when it shows up, that high you get, That's dopamine. It's the magic of maybe. Maybe it'll be there, maybe it won't. When it shows up, you get a 400% spike in dopamine. That is roughly the same amount of dopamine as you're getting from cocaine. It's slightly less than an extremely addictive drug like cocaine. And that's what's happening.
We really care what other people think of us. So for example, when you upload a new profile photo of yourself on Facebook, that's a moment where our mind is very vulnerable to knowing what other people think of my new profile photo. And so when we get new likes on our profile photo, Facebook, knowing this, could actually message me and say, oh, you have new likes on your profile photo. And it knows that we'll be vulnerable to that moment because we all really care about when we're tagged in a photo or when we have a new profile photo. And the thing is that they control the dial, the technology companies control the dial for when and how long your profile photo shows up on other people's news feeds. So they can orchestrate it so that other people more often end up liking your profile photo over a delayed period of time, for example, so that you end up having to more frequently come back and see what the new likes are.
And it's literally rewiring our brain. Even social media, the challenge is, with these terms like Facebook depression and everything, because
what's that?
This is social media depression because whereas everyone's looking at their feed and they're comparing their lives to other people, their highlights of other people's lives.
Wow.
And there's actually less life satisfaction, more sadness, depression, and stuff like that.
And it's interesting because if you think about things that routinely produce a lot of dopamine, alcohol, for example, there's a drinking age, right? We have a drinking age. The alcohol releases a whole lot of dopamine. It makes you feel really, really good. We say, okay, you can have that, but you've got to wait. You've got to be 21 years old. We don't do that with social media.
To escape the rabbit hole, to escape the deception that social media offered was insane due to the primary sabotage qualities of climbing the mountain of addiction. To leave this freaking insane addiction, you need to do one thing, just one thing. And believe me, this is the only thing, this is the only way it is going to work, and it works for everyone, from child to teenager, from young to old. This works for After quitting the social media, just observe the mental and psychological well-being of yourself, and then you will be amazed by the results. You will be free from any bondage. You will be independent. All of the sudden, you will feel increase in your intelligence, increase in your physical appearance, shine in your eyes. You will focus more on your real life rather than virtual life. That is, in order to feel the reality, you need to know its components, of which it is comprised. Living with people in real time, checking one's own patience, being patient, fighting, loving, hating. To live a peaceful life, you need to know the reality of life.
We are in a really bad state of affairs right now, in my opinion. It is eroding the core foundations of how people behave by and between each other. And I don't have a good solution. My solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. I haven't for years. It's created huge tension with my friends, huge tensions in my social circles. If you look at my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years, 3 times, 5 times. It's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed, and so I just tuned it out. But I didn't confront it. And now to see what's happening, it really bums me out.
Back in the 1970s and the early 80s at Xerox PARC, when Steve Jobs first went over and saw the graphical user interface, the way people talked about computers and what computers were supposed to be was a bicycle for our minds. That here we are, you take a human being and they have a certain set of capacities and capabilities. And then you give them a bicycle and they can go to all these new distances. They're empowered to go to these brand new places and to do these new things, to have these new capacities. And that's always been the philosophy of people who make technologies. How do we create bicycles for our minds to do and empower us to feel and access more? Now, when the first iPhone was introduced, it was also the philosophy of these technologies. How do we empower people to do something more? And what And in those days, it wasn't manipulative because there was no competition for attention. Photoshop wasn't trying to maximize how much attention it took from you. It didn't measure its success that way. And the internet overall had been in the very beginning not designed to maximize attention. It was just putting things out there, creating these message boards. It wasn't designed with this whole persuasive psychology that emerged later.
If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works.
The abstract of this video is quite horrific and quite interesting and entertaining. I hope this video gave you the instinct of how careless or unaware knowledge about social media can destroy your life, especially mental and social life. I don't know whether I fully conveyed the message or not, but trust me, I tried my best, researched a lot, read many books, pamphlets. I have covered few topics. There are many to uncover. Use social media once per day or just delete them. It is unhealthy, it is useless. Better is to build yourself some skill or training. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's all for now. Take care.